Okie dokie, I got to turn my microphone on if you're going to hear me out there. Here we go again. This happened twice this week now, ladies and gentlemen, where the computer froze up on me. I don't understand. I wish I could figure out why the hell that happens. It really is a frustrating thing to me, but it is what it is. I come back. Here I am. I'm right back with you as if nothing ever happened, ladies and gentlemen. So it is a Mercury retrograde, I think, from what I understand. So maybe that's why the computer's not working. Who the hell knows? But anyway, so let me get back into where I picked up. This will be part 2 because part 1, when I started talking, now we have to do part 2. I really hate when the videos get broken up into 2 pieces, but what are you going to do? So I was talking about basically how nobody knows crap, basically, only because, there's there's all these different people, whatever subject, everyone has different opinions, different thoughts, different, perspectives on it, right? And it always leads us into all these spaces of arguments or disagreements or who's right, who's wrong, and blah, blah, blah. Again, back to the duality of and our ego and all this type of stuff. And I'll get into it a little more, but just to kind of, because I got to get my flow back now because I got interrupted. But, basically we always have to remember that this life, the choices we have and that we're here in the school of earth to learn and do what we have to do for the lessons that need to be learned. And no matter what, we can't take anything so much. Again, like I was saying, the ultimate truth is just the oneness, right? So, there is no truth per se that it's... Okay, let me get into it this way a little bit, because just to say, with the truth community, for example, I appreciate I don't like the idea that there's a system out there that suppresses people, right? That I feel like our mainstream system, the way it does, and everything that happened with COVID brought all this up to the light in a certain way, where you have this truth community now on social media that's always talking about whatever, what the patriots are doing, what the white hats are doing, the black hats are doing, and all this type of thing. And then within that community, it's really geared towards, say, Christianity, right? And it's hardcore, put on the armor of Christ and, the armor of God, whatever they say, and, we got to fight Satan and blah, 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 and that gets, it gets tweaked into this little space. And then, with the white hats and the black hats, there's another person I watch, we think about what was going on, as some of this information was coming out and we, started saying that Hollywood is full of pedophiles and all this type of stuff. And Hollywood is a CIA operation that's, evil, meant to program people's minds. Then you got other people out there that say, oh no, it's everything you see, even the people that you think are evil are actually the good people, because evil people never come out and show who they are. Evil people never come out and show the evil that they create in the world. So even the people that you think are the bad people, are actually good people pretending to be bad, right? I mean, just think about the levels that this kind of gets into, right? And when you see how our world is today and no one really knows what to kind of hold on to for truth, that's the beautiful part of it, as I realize as I'm saying it, because the ultimate truth is knowing that the only truth is silence within the oneness and all that stuff, and letting go of the egoic mind, right? And that's all our journey here on this, in this life, to remember that and to, seek going towards that. So if you have a passionate belief, just to go back, because I don't want to, trash the Christians, or anything, but I'm saying is if you have a passionate belief in Christianity and all that, great. But you also have to have a space of knowing that isn't the ultimate truth. That is your vehicle in this life that you resonate with, that guides your perception in this space. But it doesn't mean that is the one only answer, like all these other people are going to hell, or other souls don't exist or don't count, because they don't accept Jesus or some kind of thing. That's the crazy, part of it. That's where it gets too much, right? Because ultimately, we can't have any attachment to any one idea. The whole point of this life is to have non-attachment. And, and I've spoken on it before about the levels, there's no such thing as time, but everything is levels. So think about it as like souls, like you're a soul and you're alive, right? And then you're living this life right now, and you're thinking you're in this time in this life right now. But if you've lived multiple lives, and you're seeing the entirety of human consciousness as it's grown. Say, just go back to whatever, the times of Jesus. Just say right, around Jesus when he was born or whatever, right? Year zero, whatever you want to say, and just say you've lived multiple lives, like through year zero up to now you're in 2024 living this life. So you've seen, how humanity, and you've felt it and lived in it and been part of it, humanity in this fashion. And then you live another life, some years later, and now you're another human in this, fashion, right? So, and it works all the way up. So now we have the blessing of being alive, like in this time, in this incarnation, to experience this next level of growth and see the culmination of everything that we've kind of experienced, even though we don't and the truth is we're really experiencing it at the same time, even though we're experiencing this life right now through this perception and believing we are this particular individual, we're also experiencing all the other lives that we live simultaneously, because everything exists all at once, because there really is no such thing as time and space. It's really just, levels, and layers, upon each other, building, the whole. And so I say this all today because, it's just like, as things keep, continue, you see, it's just, there's the more information that comes out, there's more and more questions and more separation. That's the craziest thing, because one answer will always lead to another question, which will lead to another question, to another question, to another question, and, and it always just keeps, it never ends. And the only way to end it, and that's why I believe in Course in Miracles, so much, and I recommend it so much to people, is because it's exactly what it talks about. It's like, it talks about realizing that you are a participant, in a physical world. You're embodied to live and carry out whatever it is in this time, but with the knowledge of that, so that you can keep the space, you can keep that space and not be so entrenched within it. You can observe it, you can experience it, you can learn from it, but it doesn't mean it's you. It doesn't rule you. It doesn't own you, and that's what I get, like, with like I say, like with the truth community, for example, like I like a lot of the information, they're talking about this, that, and the other. Yeah. Are there things that are playing out in our, in our physical world that need to be rectified? Yeah, but that's part of the whole, thing. And it's about just learning. It's like, going to a class, or, trying to figure out a math problem or something, it's like, we're just working on things. And it's not even about like, correcting what we think is wrong, as much as like realizing, that other things are possible, and allowing that information to help us do things in a different way and move in other directions and grow. So, I mentioned about the truth community, and the other things that I saw, the Epstein stuff came out, right? So, they're releasing the list of the Epstein, flight logs and all. And now it goes into this whole thing about, who's the good guy, who was on the plane, who wasn't on the plane. Of course, now they say Trump was on the plane, and, blah, blah, blah. And then other people say, Trump knew him but cut ties off long ago. And of course, everything in this current time has to go back to Trump, for whatever reason, because he's a catalyst for making people, pushing people in the direction of thinking in a different way. So that's why, that's why they're trying to crush him. They don't want people thinking in a different way, right? So, but anyway, that's beside the point today. It's just a matter of like, now that'll go down a whole rabbit hole. Think how that's going to, continue to transpire. This names are released, more names are going to be released, more information comes out, and it's going to cause more, finger pointing, and no, that's a lie. That person never. Oh, Bill Clinton, yeah, he went to the island, but he never did anything. And it's just going to cause more. And it's just like the most, interesting dynamic to me overall of how there's so much people get so entrenched in their thoughts and ideas that it takes them away from their own joy. I mean, I like I say, I have my things that I resonate with and I find interesting, or that I believe in more, but ultimately, no matter what I think I believe in or what, it doesn't even matter, because the ultimate truth is that it's all about oneness. And like me, Pete, I'm just an avatar. Like I don't even, what I'm saying? It's not about me. It's not about what I think I need, what I think I want to see, what makes me happy. It's not about that. It's about me using what this form is and the way this form operates and thinks to be the observer and, and take information, cycle it into the collective, and put forth, in whatever way comes out, like I'm saying, like, as we grow, sometimes we might be jerks when we're young and we become nicer as we get older, just to make it simple, just saying, because you learn from experiences and like, I went through this experience and, I realized that this experience really hurt me, or I caused, pain to someone else. And, it makes you realize not to, do that same thing again. Right. So, I mean, that's more what it's all about. We have to take ourselves out of the equation. So, I just see all this with that. And one of the other things that really got me is, with the precious metal stuff that I watch, two people, Bix Weir, if anybody who is into the precious metals community, I'm sure you know who Bix Weir is. And, I enjoy his videos. He does a great job of, explaining, what he thinks the metals, especially silver, what it's doing and blah, blah, blah. And then you got the other guy that I started watching not too long ago. I found his videos, that Bo Polney. And he's good. Like, I like him. He's fun. He's real energetic. But he's like, he's over the top Christian too, in a way. It's all about, biblical prophecy and how that's playing out in our world today. And, and the truth is everything has a piece of truth because everything is part of the whole. So, but this is what I mean, how the division happens. So there was one time, there was one episode where Bix was like really criticizing Bo, saying he always says these dates and nothing ever happens. I don't know why people listen to him. And then I thought, well, I love Bix too. And I said, but not for nothing, I was thinking about, I said, but Bix goes on a lot of times and says, oh, you better get your silver today because this is going to be it. I don't think it's going to, and nothing ever happens with that either. And then he has conversations with the Jenny Moonstone person who's like a remote viewer, and so, I mean, and she does predictions. So what's the difference of Bix doing his predictions with Jenny Moonstone than Bo doing his predictions, based on the Bible? What I'm saying is what I'm trying to say is that, like, everybody's trying to send a similar, message or whatever resonates. And then they're like, picking at each other. Like, one of the things that Bo said that got me on a recent video that I saw of his was, he was talking about the BRICS nations and stuff coming up and, coming against, the United States and blah, blah, blah. And, he talked about all the countries that are part of the BRICS. And he's saying these are non-Christian countries. And, obviously they don't love God. And I thought, oh my God, like, what kind of crazy comment is that? That's where, like, people lose me, It's just like, so you're telling me, like, people in Egypt and people in Russia and people in China, South America or wherever the hell it is, South Africa, wherever they're doing, was it South America? I forgot, whatever, there's like a bunch of countries, you can go look at all that crap up. But anyway, long story short, India, I think, right? But they don't love God. They're what are they? They're like a waste of life. I mean, it just makes no sense. Like, you're trying to say that, like, we're righteous because we're Christians. And, and then you got the other guy, Cliff High. He's great too. I enjoy his stuff. You should check him out. But, and he is more, talks about we're at war with space aliens basically right now. He always talks about, and all our religions really come from worshiping different groups of space aliens, and talk about how all our religions are going to fall apart, because you think you're worshiping God, but you're really worshiping the Elohim, So it's like, and the point I'm making is that's why I say nobody knows shit, and I'm not saying people don't know. Like, what I like about Cliff, for example, is he does whatever experiments he does to calculate the chances of events happening based on energy levels and stuff. And, it's really that part I like, but I don't know how much he talks about the bases on the moon. And I'm open to everything. I wouldn't, if somebody showed me there's, alien bases on the moon, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But like, I just, everybody's so sure of themselves. I mean, what do we really know? What is real information? This goes back to like what I was saying yesterday, is the psychological warfare and such. I mean, what do we really know? And I just think it's important, for people to like always keep a perspective, and for all of us to stop, trying to, pick and choose, what we say is right and truth. And, everybody's saying, oh, we're like with Q. Q is a great example. I really like Q, and I think Q is, is part of things, but it's just like everything else is part of things. It's fine, but the number one thing that Q says that always resonates with me is like, enjoy the show. And the only reason it resonates so much is because, this world is the show ultimately, and then when you take all the other facets into it and you see what's going on and all the different the way different people are expressing themselves, but they're all really kind of part of the whole. It's an interesting concept because this world is not real, right? It's not happening linear, in a linear fashion as we think it is. Like we're waiting to see what happens tomorrow. Like everything's happening at once, and having this knowledge or having this concept, it makes it a lot easier to go back to like, my layers and levels example. Instead of thinking of time in this linear, it's more like levels, right? Circular, spiral, whatever you want to say. And it's just, I really kind of got me to just especially with the Epstein stuff coming out the last couple of days. And all these different videos I watch and I just see people like so, staunch on this and who's really staunch on that. And they're all kind of in the same realm. Of course, you got your shysters out there that, just want to make money off of this kind of stuff. So they put out, nonsense, so like I'm not into the cryptos as much, like those people like Charlie Ward and stuff like, I used to watch a little bit of that, but I don't know. They just, something doesn't vibe right with me with that community on that end. But, in general, the people that are trying to send good messages, I appreciate what they're trying to send, but like, we're all just too, wrapped up in, say, well, no, I heard from this one. This is what, Charlie Freak says. So that means that's the only right answer. And like Charlie Freak is a good example. He's the one that has been saying, the white hats and the black hats are really the same people because, they have to put on the show to show humanity, the evil that's going on. And I'm thinking, well, I don't know. I mean, I can understand what you're saying, but at the same time, you're telling me there's no, like everybody on earth, everybody's playing, everybody's pretending and being evil and doing all this stuff, pretending to be bad people, just to, get people to, so who's doing the bad stuff then? Like, where's the bad stuff coming from? And he gets like, I like him. And I've learned a lot from watching his stuff over the years, but, he also he's like, he's dogmatic about it in a way. And this is it. And this is the righteous path and rah. And it's like the righteous path is like, there is like the only path is like, ultimately letting go the ego and the oneness. And, I'm just trying to say, and everybody gets there in a different way, because even the bad stuff, even being righteous, even being dogmatic, is all part of the whole. And, and to me, when people are that way, and like, using Charlie again as an example, when people are that way, I just, so, and I don't want to take away his passion for what he does. Like, but I just mean when you're so dogmatic in that way, it's another lesson from the universe to, have space and say, this is great. I really appreciate what I'm learning. This really resonates with me. I really believe in this, but, let me remember that this is for me. This is for me for how I learn, for how I am to grow, but let me remember to keep space and know that this is just, a representation from my observation so that I can learn and I can grow. It doesn't mean that it's the ultimate truth. There's no one answer for everything, for everybody, it's just no one answer. So that's why we're here. And that's why, this world of duality is the way it is, with separation and so many different ideas. And the whole point is to be compassionate to each other and learn and grow. So anyway, that's why I'm saying nobody knows shit, ladies and gentlemen, because, we get all crazy about all this stuff that's going on in the world, and everybody wants to know what's happening. Everybody wants a date. Everybody wants the truth, and rah. And it's just forget about it. Forget about it. It goes back to what I say all the time. Create your own flow of quo. Just find what resonates with you. Be a good person. Have gratitude in your life, reverence for, the planet, just simple things, kind to your neighbors, and just have love in your heart. And that's it. Everything's going to work out. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. It's going to work out. The existence has been around for eternity, and will keep being around. So it's all going to work out the way it should. There's higher, players involved, spiritually than to worry about what General Flynn's doing tomorrow. So, oh my gosh, like even 107, I really like him too. He's good, but he just kind of always just like kind of talks in circles and says, it's like, I don't know, like he's like, stop wasting everybody's time. All these people every day to say nothing. Like, if there's really something to say, come out and say that. If you're not going to say, just come out and say, we can't tell you anything. If you want to talk about what's going on, if you want to have just a conversation, we can talk, but I can't tell you anything because it's top secret. Instead of always it's always this kind of way of saying but not saying. And I don't know. I mean, I appreciate everything. I think it's a time. I get it the way our world is, and it's a time to for people to awaken and learn and do things in a different way. Humanity's changing. I say this all the time. So anyway, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's all I really have. It's just like there's so many, too much. It's like too much information. It's like overload, and it's like it's too many thoughts, too many ideas, too many opinions, and everybody starts going down all these rabbit holes, and it just creates more, everybody going in a million directions instead of, the breath, coming back to center, appreciating, life, loving God, whatever you want to call it, and, letting life lead the way, as I like to say. So anyway, that's what I got for you here today on Operation Status Quo. I apologize once again for my technical difficulties in the beginning, but you get a part 1 and a part 2. So how about that, ladies and gentlemen? All right. So thanks for being with me here today on Operation Status Quo. If you haven't done so already, please take the time to like, subscribe, share, send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well. I love each and every one of you out there, individually as well as a group. God bless you. And until Monday, Operation Status Quo, disengaged.
Is a boulevard of 10 short blocks.